This is my round from August 12th, playing at Ottawa Park, long off the blue tees. Hole 1 is a 312 foot. Pretty much pick your line around this single, slowly dying tree here in the center of the screen. I'm going for a neutron servo off the tee. Not a particularly challenging hole, pretty much just to get it inside of the putting range and move on with your life. Cleaned that up pretty easy, even if I didn't frame the shot up too well. Hole 2's 348 feet. You don't have anything to worry about until you're within about 100 foot of the pin, so it's kind of one of these throw it out there and hope type holes. Just taking a fission crave up the left side of the fairway and letting the natural flippiness of the disc pilot around all the branches and whatnot. Didn't end up quite as close as I'd like, but tried to give it a bid for two. But those are tap-ins, so can't be too unhappy missing a putt from 50-something feet. Moving on to hole 3, 381 feet uphill into a headwind. Going with a fission and SAMV here. Of course, I stand right in the way of the drive, so you can see about 5% of it. But managed to fight for the trees on the right over top of the parking lot. And I'm at least up there on the dance floor. Probably got about 85 foot look here for a possible two. Yeah, that's a little far outside my comfort range, but easy cleanup for 3 again. Be 1 down, 3. No bogeys at least, so that's always a positive. Double par there. Hole 4's 290 foot, slightly downhill, and the green slopes away massively downhill to the right. Got a low hanging branch about 50 foot off the tee here. Fission hex and stay under that. Probably should have gone with putter. 50 foot long. We'll pop back uphill all day. There's a nice circle 2 for birdie to take us to -2 on the round. Moving to hole 5, 354 foot uphill all the way. OB Street on the right, and the entire fairway slopes down towards it, so I'm going to go with the K1 loads here. Try to not find the OB or the street and skip across to the people's yard. Keep it nice and low. Just about 5% left of where I'd like to be, so I'll collect on the left side of the fairway over there under the pine trees. Maybe it's a look for a pro disc golf from a low-hanging branch 30 foot away from me. I want nothing to do with it. I'll just lay up for an easy par. Just like that. Stayed out of the street. Didn't get shot. Everybody's happy. A little walk here up to the basket and tap in this thought space altar. I've been putting and doing my approach shots for a while now. Hole 6 is 340 foot. It's technically a little baby flex line. You just don't really want to flex out hard at the end. Just to add to it, I'm now thrown directly into a headwind. K1 loads again. Let the 9-speed fight the headwind, and I ended up just a little bit left of where I wanted to be, so I got a 50, 60 foot look for birdie here. nice giant, either forehand lever or, in my case, a giant backhand turnover. Gonna go with a Axiom Proton Virus here. Nice flippy 9-speed. Didn't quite remember that there was going to be a pushing tailwind on this. So I put this up on a good angle and it just gets driven hard to the right and quick. So I've got a little bit of work left now. I actually put a forehand on this really well and forgot to record it, so I had to bust my second disc out. And that works well too. So that'll at least be an easy 3 off the mediocre tee shot. Off space tempo action. Nice and steady and get to the ground quick. Moving to hole 8, 308 foot initial tree gap, and then you've got a couple of guardians right by the basket. Throwing a plasma crave here. Just trying to stay easy through the gap and then just stay right of all of the garbage and cabbage by the green. Pretty much pulled that off without a hitch. I've got 20-foot putt here. Might be a little over much. Hole 9 is a 307-foot hyzer with a headwind. Normally I'd throw a resistor here, but I forgot it, so we're going to go plasma servo. Didn't get quite as far up onto the little hill the green's on as I wanted, but not terrible. Yeah, if I had the resistor, that would have got another 20 foot left there, and I could have been up on the hill putting easy instead of this 40-foot monstrosity. Uphill into a headwind, everybody's favorite. Almost got the comedy roll away, but it hung along the back side, so we're still doing all right. Clean up this 15-footer, just like I had on the last one, not a 20, a 15. Nice and easy. So that's -4 through the front 9, which is nothing to sneeze at. Moving to the back 9, hole 10's 432 foot. There's only about 20 trees in your way, so go K1 logs here. Just a touch of flex and let that thing come back out. And I've birdied this once, but it takes an incredible shot, so I'm very happy to take an easy par here. Spoil the score. Right after I made this nice little jump putt layup here combo, there's an apartment complex behind this course, and 2 gentlemen got into an argument over a pack of Black and Milds and a can of beer, and guns were pulled, and I got a bit distracted and forgot to record my actual tee shot on the next day. So there's a par to stay at -4. Moving to hole 11's 333 foot, kind of thrown up over a tree that sticks out into the fairway. Once again, nice little flex shot into the wind. This is my second servo here. You can see the guy walking away in blue and red on the left. Yeah, they were just a little bit excited. So here's where I actually landed off the tee instead of the reshoot I had to throw. Sorry. Whiskey disc on the first one, couldn't get it up, and then bounced it off the top. I'll take a 3 there. Trying to gain on this group in front of me here, moving to hole 12. 291 uphill, turnover shot. I accidentally threw this off the red tee, but the difference between the red and blue on this is about 8 feet, so I'm not really too worried about it. I didn't ace it, spoiler alert, so it's not like it really matters. Also, I have no idea what's going on the left side of the camera right now. Just not great. There's a neutron uplink. Just flipping mid-range. Almost and almost. Another par, 4 pars in a row. I'll deal with that. That's fine. It's a lot better than 4 bogeys in a row. So. Just cleaning that up. Probably don't really need to film the tap ends, but I had the camera in my hand. Here's the hole they let me play through on 13's 276 feet. Pretty much just got one pine tree to miss down there at the end. So.
That's better.
Neutron servo again, just letting it do the job, and I didn't film the putt on this, but I ended up bullseye, so 14's a 400-foot hole OB all the way along the right. Try not to get shot by the people in the apartments. You got a 6-foot gap to hit here off the tee. I'm going K1 loads again. Nothing to it. Just let that disc flex out, do its own thing, and end up on the left side. It's way better than ending up by the street. There's just a ton of trees over there. You can see them there. It's the apartment complex. So I'll end up by the tee of 11 here all day long and just throw a nice little anti-approach shot with a putter. Have an easy tap in once again. I'm gonna tap in. Pretty sneezable distance there. This is about the point the wind really started picking up. Moving to 15's 296 along the crest of a hill that drops off really hard to the right there. I couldn't really get a turnover fired through here because of the wind, so I figured I'd go forehand and at least get a look at it. So there's a neutron volt off the tee. Yeah, I don't throw many forehand distance shots for that reason. I realize that for most of you watching, 296 is not a distance shot. Tickle on the chains on my first putt, and yeah, just don't have it from that distance. That's probably the better part of 50 feet there. So we'll tap those in, clean up another par. 16's 405 feet downhill, and because I'm an idiot, instead of throwing something overstable to fight the wind, I decided to throw a neutron virus low and let it flip up. And it ends up alright. I missed all the trees. It's a super low ceiling off the tee, but I don't know why I didn't throw something smarter. Probably the fatigue. You can tell from the sweat spot on my shirt. It's just a touch hot out. We'll try our Anheuser putt shot again. And I'll forget I'm throwing downhill and just let that sail 35 feet past the basket. So we got this to look at for par now. Which, fortunately, we get. So we've somehow stayed once again. Still sitting at -5 on the round as we move into hole 17, 270 foot along the top of the hill. The entire fairway to the right here is all downhill, so I'm going to go neutron servo. Normally I'd go resistor here, but bend this perfectly around the tree and just let the stability of the disc bend that thing right toward the basket. And based on where it landed, I think I'm going to start throwing a servo on this a little more often. So definitely one of my favorite MVP discs for sure. There's -6 on the round, moving to hole 18's 289, uphill massively, big giant cluster of trees on your right. If you've got Simon line type distance, you can probably throw a backhand hyzer around everything, but I don't, so we'll go for a nice turnover shot with a K1 foul here. Just started throwing this disc recently and I'm loving it. It's bendy without being a rolling disc and waiting. I got to the top of the hill, can't be too sad with that. It's pretty hard to park this one with all the stuff up near the pin. It's a pretty fair par 3. And yeah, the fatigue's setting in, and I mean that's a long putt for me anyway, but not the greatest 2 looks. But we'll take a par on 18 today. Moving to hole 19, 321 foot. Essentially a baby turnover. You can throw to the right around these trees. It's pretty wide open. Nice little finisher. Going fig and crave here off the tee. I'm trying not to throw anything real quick on these last couple holes. And as you can see from my shoddy camera work, end up about 8 foot from the pin, so good call there, not going for some giant 9-speed driver type disc I have no business throwing. But that's it. -7 on the round. No bogeys. Pretty hard to complain about.